Green light, they're away.
And they're all in their positions, ready to go. There's the light up.
In true Mildura style.
The green light's on. It was a beautiful start.
He's trying to get across.
Hello, welcome to Burning Questions, March 21. Can't wait for the racing ahead tomorrow night at Melton. Group 1 racing back here at headquarters for the first time since that great Southern Star Hunter Cup night on the 1st of February. Andy Gath and Darren Carroll join us. Darren, we'll start with you. Welcome to the show. And we find you, look, I'm going to have a guess here, somewhere in Menangatang at your child household there. I reckon that's where you are today.
Yeah, Mum's in Menangatang, so here for the week. So I'm looking forward to doing burning questions from Menangatang.
On your left shoulder, a couple of race photos up there. Who we got?
There's you catching winning at Mildura. So yeah, and then Tin Dog Road. There's another funny name horse. So a couple of family photos in the background.
Good stuff. Great to have you on. And Andy Gath joins us. We just had to pause for 10 or 15 minutes. Andy, you're gonna do some remedial work on your track at home, or what's going on? What was the hold up?
Yeah, no, I had to pick up some new harrows for my track. I've worn out the last ones by dragging the track too much. So yeah, just took a little bit of time to load them in the rain. So but, finally got here.
Good stuff. Great to have you on. Let's get stuck right into it. We had Chris Alford lined up today, but he basically texted me before and said, I'm going to have to do an IT course. He couldn't get it going on his own, and he's got no one to help him. So no Chris Alford today, just the three of us. And as Andy said, 2 gun form analysts is enough, isn't it, Andy? I don't know who those 2 people were, though. Righto, let's get stuck into it. Get ready for the inaugural 2025 APG Adelaide Yearling Sale, featuring 3 major sale races in Adelaide, Port Pirie and Mount Gambier. Don't miss your chance to invest in a champion. Find all the details and register as a buyer at apgold.com.au. At APG, there's a horse for everyone. It was a great first up win from the Jet. So in the Group 1, is she the bet? We're talking about race 6, horse 6. I'm ready, Jet for Andy and Kate Gath. It is the Group 1, Aldebaran Park, Something About Maori, Trotting Mares, Free for All. Andy, looking back through the honour roll, your horse is actually going for the 3rd win in this race. I'm not sure if you knew that, but certainly the first in your care.
Yeah, no, I did look back the last couple of days at her form over the 2700 and, didn't realise she won it twice. I knew she at least won it once, but obviously the 2700 is no fears for her. So, she's pretty good first up. So hopefully she can make it 3-time winner of it.
Just quickly before we talk a bit more about her, Something About Maori. What's your memories of her? I've got some vivid memories as a young journalist at the Still Times News, Andy, writing about this horse. It was one of my first sort of interests in the harness racing. I remember she won a 2004 Inter Dominion grand final, trained by the great Brian Healy. So she was a fantastic horse.
Yeah, no, she was a great mare, and I was intrigued how she was shot in front. She had real short square toes in front to make it break over really quick, and it was probably Brian was probably ahead of his time shoeing trotters, and she was sort of such a good gated mare and very strong, and to be able to win this Dominion like she did, she was quite dominant. So there's no doubt about her. She was a champion mare, not a great brood mare, but she was a champion mare, race mare.
Yeah, that's right. I'm ready, Jet, Andy. Really good performance first up. If you were picking up the form guide or you're watching the replays from the last time I'm ready, Jet and Queen Elida went head-to-head. It's almost impossible to tip Queen Elida, but I think you're happy to say that you are led to believe the track might have been a little bit off on the inside, so maybe we can give Queen Elida a pass mark there.
Yeah, I would. There's a few horses that race below their best, and none of the leaders were able to win. Admittedly, some horses did sit on the fence and did win, so to what extent, it's hard to say, but, a few drivers I spoke to, Kate, as well, said the inside was quite heavy. Queen Elida is a quality mare. Every time you're up against it, you got a fight on your hands. So it's not a matter of just turning up and winning. There's other horses in the race as well. We do have a little bit of advantage over the barrier draw. I'm ready yet. Does leave the gate quite good. You probably, most of her life, she's either been out of the draw or drawn the back row. But Queen Elida can be really quick too. And I'm sure Chris will press the button early and try and cross us and see what happens. But, I'm pretty confident she can hold her early.
Okay. Good stuff. And has she worked any better or improved since her first up victory?
Yeah, I think from her trial to her race, she improved a fair bit, and I expect to improve again. She's quite a big, gross mare, so she needed the racing, so I think she'll be better again. And work this week was really sharp.
So you can get to the pegs first, Andy, do you think, with I'm Ready Jet?
I think so. I think anything off the front line, be happy to hand over to the first good one that's there.
I agree. Daz, over to you. I think we're both tipping I'm Ready Jet, and we've got it billed as a 2-horse race.
Yeah, hard to add too much more to it. That information about the track being a little bit off on the inside from last week's really important. So go back and have a look at your form guide and results through there, and keep that in the back of your mind for the coming weeks. I would say it's imperative. I thought clearly a 2-horse race. I'd be shocked if anything outside those 2 won. And if I'm Ready Jet finds the fence first over Queen Elida, then I'd struggle to see how she could sit outside I'm Ready Jet and beat her. So I'm clearly in the camp of I'm Ready Jet. Queen Elida was just that bit too disappointing for me last time.
Yeah, I agree. All right. 3 ticks in the corner of I'm Ready Jet on Saturday night. Logical Staffing Solutions provide labour hire and recruitment services to the transport, warehousing, automotive and manufacturing industries. The logical solution for your staffing needs. Emma's got one hand on another plate, but which one do we rate? We're talking about the City of Melton Plate Race 5 at 8:48 p.m, the first leg of the main quaddie. Emma Stewart prepares 3 horses in this race, including the 2 real key chances in betting. Number 7, The Narcissist, and also number 11, Best Deal. Andy, you're not involved in this race, but I think most people agree it's a 2-horse race. Have you got a leaning towards The Narcissist or Best Deal?
I think The Narcissist. Generally, barrier 7's got a barrier draw advantage, but I think on this case it is. I think it's a good chance of finding the top. Best Deal's a real good quality horse who's super fast, but he's going to have to be sort of close enough to be able to get the job done. But they're both quality horses, but I'm sticking with The Narcissist. He just all his runs have been terrific, and he seems to be getting better too.
Yeah, I think that the sky's the limit for him, Daz, where we might all be, like we were with I'm Ready Jet, I think we might all be in the corner of The Narcissist here.
Yeah, Best Deal's only been beaten twice, is the important data. He's been beaten from barrier 3 off the second row and barrier 4 off the second row. And look what it's dished up, barrier 4 off the second row. Look, no doubt he's a quality horse, but the issue is we all think that Narcissus is likely to find the front, and if that's the case, he's going to have to sit parked or come 3 wide in quick sectionals. So I don't need a super effort from Best Deal to win, but the Narcissist has just been so impressive so far. So clearly on top for me, the Narcissist.
Yeah, me too. I don't need that a lot more. I've banged on about him for a while now, and
the overs is taken. They bet $4.20. He's slightly ahead in the market at the moment. I think that's probably the true reflection of probably how it will end up as well. I think last I saw they were both odds on. That won't happen. One will be shorter than the other in black figures. So I'd say Narcissus might end up $1.80 and Best Deal about $2.40 in the end. Okay.
You think he'll start favourite, the Narcissist? He'll run favourite?
Yeah, that's the trend, and I would have thought the trend's going to continue.
Yeah. Yeah, and as Andy said, barrier 7, you wouldn't necessarily say that's a good draw, but in this case, I think it is. He'll press forward for Greg Sugars. He's going to reach free for all grade pretty quickly, and all his recent runs have been fantastic since joining the stable. I've made him the best bet on the card. Just one more on Best Deal, Andy. He trialled behind Catch a Wave at Ballarat, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He sort of got tied the last 50. Admittedly, it was a track record time, but he did trial quite good. And obviously that was a while ago, so he'll be super fit. They'll have him primed. There's no doubt about that. He's won a big derby. He's a quality horse, and he's going to be a horse of the future. But the barrier draw is up against him. Yeah, for sure. A different story maybe if we switched him around. But all 3 of us very, very keen on the Narcissist. Pride's Easy Feed stand as a proud supporter of the harness racing industry with their set recipes and quality ingredients to give the trainer confidence in what they're feeding. So make the switch to Pride's and start getting the result you've been chasing. Bullet's got that dreaded outside gate, but can he win the Stampede with a dash in the home straight? The Stampede is race number 7 on the card at 9:48 p.m. The Melton City Much More Stampede over the 1200. Of course, all horses start across the front row. Last look, Daz, we'll go to you here. Last look at the market. He was very short. Bulletproof Boy, $1.40. Tango Tara around the $3 range. Yeah, and then Desi G was 14 into around 5. They look the 3 key chances. How are you playing the Stampede?
Yeah, Bulletproof Boy was $1.30 on opening. That was too short. I think we will all admit that it's very, very difficult to win from 8 because obviously we have 8 across the front over these 1,200 metre races. So it takes a superb effort to be able to do so. Catch a Wave couldn't do so on Hunter Cup night. And a horse like Diamond Eclipse, no disrespect to Diamond Eclipse, but nice horse, but not in the same league as Catch a Wave. So that just goes to show how hard it is. So it depends on what happens early. There's a bit of speed. We talked about this on the radio this morning, Toc. We got horses like Don Arthur and Desi G, who have got a lot of early speed. So if one of them happens to be able to find the front and get a fairly comfortable lead, then it's going to make it very hard for Tango Tara and Bulletproof Boy to get into the race. So they only need probably 100 or 200 metres where the speed slackens off, and then the others have to get going. Andy's the king of these races, so I'll let him sum it up. But yeah, I just think $1.40 couldn't possibly take that price, and he has to drift. He can't start that price.
So the $100 question, I love throwing these out there. $100, what are you doing with it, Daz?
I'd have something on Desi G and something on Tango Tara at the current prices.
Okay. Andy, you have got Tango Tara second from the outside. He's not quite Catch a Wave, and he's almost got the same barrier Catch a Wave had, and he couldn't get it done. How do you think this plays out?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of speed inside us with Don Arthur, Desi G, and a few other horses. Even Ideal Escape's drawn inside us. When he does pace, he can leave the gate pretty quick as well. And Bulletproof Boy's really quick as well. So if Scotty might chance his arm early, who knows? He might want to charge forward and get up there early. So, it's a tricky little race to sort of map. Yeah, I quite enjoy these races. I think they're quite competitive. They're exciting to watch. So, Tango Tara is going as good as he ever has, even though he's a 9-year-old. Bulletproof 10, and he's going the best he's ever had. So age doesn't worry with these standard breeds. But yeah, I don't really know. I think Kate will come out early and have a look and just sort of see, and sort of we might be right up there early. And if we just got to sit there quiet, I mean, if you sit there out wide, he's pretty classy, Tango Tara, and pretty strong, especially over the short races. I think he'd be fine out to finish.
It must be, I don't know, you and Kate obviously talk about every drive that she has. And are the 1200s perplexing for both of you? I feel like they're always filled with intrigue, and they must be difficult to drive as a reins person.
Yeah, feel like every race, you still have to drive them tempo related. And probably, we know Catch a Wave got beat in it first up, but, he sort of missed the run, and we decided to go back. In hindsight, if we probably had to went forward early, he probably would have won that race, but it was where he was at the stage of his preparation. So, of course, you draw wide doesn't mean you have to go back. You still have to drive the race to tempo, and they do seem to slacken off that second quarter a little bit, and that's when you probably have to make your move and get into the race.
I think it's actually a good point. I didn't really consider it, but what do you reckon? Bulletproof Boy, they might have a crack early, Daz. I mean, they might get up there early.
Considering how much speed's there, it's still hard to cross. We've seen some good horses try and do so. What's the last one that's led for, mate? Do you remember, Andy?
I'm not sure there has been.
Yeah. So,
and
I know it's the difference for me is we had these 1,200 metre races on the lower class races, and I thought it was easier for horses on the outside to win in those races. I just think it's so hard at this level when these horses can all run quick times. So
I think it's harder out wider because no one's looking to hand up. They're all looking to find them. Yeah. And they're happy to go 26-2 the first quarter, but if it's 1,700, they're probably a little bit more cautious. Well, obviously 2,200, they're not coming out the gate as quick, but being a shorter race and you only have to sustain an effort for a shorter space of time, people are sort of happy to overdrive a little bit early and try harder to find the pegs.
Yeah. You've even got About Time, who's got gate speed as well with Bluey. So if Bluey puts the handlebars down, then
he referenced in the parade ring last weekend that he wasn't going to use that horse because he sort of had in the past and it just hadn't worked. But I get the feeling this might be the race where he does have a dip. I mean, Don Arthur, I think, can lead in the initial stages. There's so much speed there. Maybe it'll be one of those races where, the class just storm him over the top. But not really a race I want to get involved in. Certainly the overs was Desi G, but, about the right price now. Great race. Race 7 is the Stampede over 1,200 metres. The Phoenix has drawn well in the Scotch Notch, so is he the one to watch? The Scotch Notch Memorial Trot over the 1,720 metres is race 8 on the card at 10:22 p.m. The fourth and final leg of the main quaddie. Andy, I'll go to you here. You're not involved in the race, but we've got Tripod Barrier 1, RC Phoenix Barrier 2, 3 for I'm Bobby, 4 Aldebaran Zeus, 5 Brandlow Prince for Darren Carroll, and 6 Kiang Chucky, the last start Group 1 Hammerhead Mile winner. Who do you think's the most likely winner here?
Yeah, I heard a very astute analyst on the radio give a stat about RC Phoenix, so I'll hand it over to you, Darren, and you can explain why he'll probably lead and win.
So it hasn't been beaten since 2022. So he's had 8 starts in the mobile. So he had 1 in the stand, 8 starts in the mobile, where he's led since that time and unbeaten. So, and that's at high class level. And as Toc said on the radio today, he said one of those was beating Just Believe. So the stats say even though Kian Chucky is in such good form, it's just going to be so hard for him to get run down.
And do you, in your opinion, is RC Phoenix, sort of going at that level that when he beat Just Believe? And I feel like he's going just as good.
Yeah, I think so. He just hasn't had, the luck of late. I still think that he didn't get through to the Great Southern Star final. He wouldn't have been able to beat the champ on that night anyhow. But it would have been interesting to see what he could have done in that race. But I just think his form's still at the same level, if not maybe even a little bit better than what he was going at that time. So just hasn't had the draw to lead for a while. Okay,
so you're with him, Darren?
Have to be, yeah, just purely because of the draw. You flip the draws and you get totally different results. So I've got to go this way, even though I've got massive respect for Chucky.
Andy?
Yeah, I see Phoenix, but, he's just low flying, and Chucky. So,
yeah.
It's going to be a great race.
Yeah, I'm with RC Phoenix. Don't want to launch at him, but he should be leading, and he's going to give an almighty side, isn't he? Kiang Chucky's going to have to be outstanding to beat him. So that is a great race, just the 6 horses. That is the City of Melton Scotch Notch Memorial Trot. Boys, I don't know if you guys can hear that where you are. There's I'm just hearing a bit of a stampede coming through here, and it might be this bull that's turned up in my house.
I can't believe it took 20 minutes to get it out.
Yeah.
Really going to bring out the Tassie Cup because, of course, good luck to the Victorians at Hobart this weekend. But we've got the Sharps Bakery Mallyball Pacing Cup trophy here, and it's a nice segue, isn't it, into the Sharps Bakery Best Bet. Before we do that, Andy, you've won just about everything in harness racing. When are you going to turn up at Birchip?
Yeah, when there's the slot race there, I'll turn up and try and win that trophy. I would have brought out one of my Great Southern Stars trophy, but I couldn't pick which one I liked the best.
I said to Andy the other day, we were discussing whether it was a Group 1, something about Maori, and we eventually realised it was. And I said, you better book a table in case you win it to celebrate. And he said, look, I only worry about the Grand Circuit races. So that's the sort of calibre we're dealing with here. Just quickly on that slot race, while we're chatting, we can spend a minute or two on it. Andy, your thoughts on a slot race at Birchip without, nothing's bedded down, but in theory, do you like it?
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a fantastic idea. Obviously, I've never been to Birchip, but everyone raves about it. So one thing you've already got there is the crowd. And if you have a slot race, Darren was involved with the Ultimate Driver slot race, and it just involves so many more people. You could have another 10 groups of 10 people in a slot each, and involves another 100 people. Such a great concept. Yeah, and I think Birchip's an ideal place to kick it off. I think it would be fantastic to get it off the ground. Be great if it could be worth 150 and make it a Group 1. Make it for a 4-year-old and older, for a horse that haven't won race over 15,000, sort of that type of level horses. And yeah, I think it'd be great.
So if it was Group 1, you'd celebrate it, Andy, if you won it. It's not Grand Circuit, but you'd make an exception for it.
Oh, maybe a little one.
A barbecue at home.
The thing we underestimate, and I know I'm talking to Andy about this in the past, is when Catchaway won the race in Perth. He said it was like the slot holders had, were the owners of the horse. They were just as excited as the ownership group. So it's just a whole partnership thing about the current owners and the slot getting together and cheering on the same horse. And in numbers, it just makes such a huge difference to the atmosphere on track. So, if we could get along the line, if it's Birchip or if it's somewhere else, but it certainly does have, to me, legs to at least have a crack at. And I think there's so much innovation going on in some of the other states. I think we need to have a crack.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hope we can, if the club want it, let's hope we can get something happening. I think there's a lot of positives to it, and it'd be great, wouldn't it, to offer a big race to, participants maybe don't get the chance very often to compete at the elite level. So it'll be fantastic. So anyway, we'll bring that trophy out one more time. How good is that? Seriously, we'd have to come up with something even better, wouldn't we, for the slot race? Any ideas?
Yeah, they'd have to have a card on the back. It's like the Chariots of Fire, but the card on the back of the bulls.
I reckon. If Sharps Bakery want to sponsor it, just a massive vanilla slice could be the trophy. Anyway, Sharps Bakery sponsor the best bets segment. I reckon I know where you're going, Daz.
Narcissist for me. So clearly the best bet of the night.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with the Narcissist. What did we say? Race 5. Wasn't
Race
it?
5, number 7.
Race 5, number 7 for me and Darren Carroll. Andy, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going race 1, number 8, Centre Rainbow, and hope the inside's not off.
Can you go and walk the track for us, Andy?
Yeah, I'll have a little run around it.
Odin leads and
just
Centre
do a couple of
Rainbow,
laps
Pink
and you
Zone.
can trot it down a bit for us. Make
That's
sure it's fast. Yeah.
We've got the equipment.
I'll bring my
in the-
bowler out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, race 1, number 8 for Andy. You landed one at big price. I remember when J-Bomb was doing the show. What was that horse that led all the way at about $15? What was that?
I don't know, there's a few of them.
It was one of yours. Heavily
Voyager.
backed. That was the
Arden
one, I
Voyager.
reckon.
Yes, yeah.
Who was it?
Arden Voyager.
Race 1 on a Saturday night, I reckon it was. Yeah.
Did you also have one that big odds, one of Emma Stewart ones?
Yeah,
one
Struve.
night? Struve, that's the one.
Oh, I
And
remember
J-Bone
him.
just couldn't have it, could he?
That might have been when we turned it to the Andy Gath show for a week, didn't we? We changed the intro.
That's it. He did say if he gets home, you can host it next week. So
That's right. That's right. We got our graphic artist, Craig Russell, onto it. Hey, great show. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, guys.
all good.
That's been Burning Questions. You'll see me, if you want to, on track on Saturday night for all the coverage at thetrots.com.au and, of course, on Sky Racing.
Green light, they're away.
And they're all in their positions, ready to go. There's the light up.
In true Mildura style.
The green light's on. It was a beautiful start of.
He's trying to